Well, let's get started. Today I wanted to do a quick little class about working with reference, and I wanted to take a look at this piece posted to the Discord group, not the subreddit. So I take in work to critique through my Discord group and my subreddit. What is it that I do exactly? Like, who am I even? Well, I'm Istebrak. I teach art and I critique art that people submit to my subreddit, which you can find by going to istebrak.com, clicking on the subreddit icon right here, or going to my Discord public group. I have two Discords, one just for patrons and one for public use by everyone, which I'm very active in. You guys can submit your work there into the general critique text channel. So this time I thought it might be interesting to go back to working with reference. We haven't done one like this in a while, right? So let's do one. I will host another challenge in this community, and the winners will get the same as the last winner of the challenge we just finished, which is going to be floral creatures. So usually we do floral humanoids, right? Well, this time around we're going to do floral creatures. You pick your favorite flower, any flower that you like, any flower that stands out to you, but you pick only one flower and you turn it into a creature, which I think is so cool, first of all. I love flowers, and I also love when creature design is like different. It's not the same stuff we always see, you know, like the basic stuff like elemental golems and whatnot. You see a little bit more, or the same take on a fire fox or something like that. Something unique and interesting. And maybe one day we'll do the inverse. Take an animal that you love and turn them into a plant. What kind of plant would they be? What would they look like? Wouldn't that be cool? But for now, we're going to do the original, not the inverse, which is pick your favorite flower, and turn it into a creature. It can be any theme you want. It can be horror. It can be fun, sunshine, cutesy. It can be anything in between. That'll be due around the end, mid-May or beginning of June. Sorry, not mid-May. What am I saying? Mid-June or end of June. Yes, there will be a new course on Gumroad. It's just that I have been dealing with a lot of other different avenues of my life that I have not been able to come back to my office and edit a very long video. Editing a video that takes a long time, and I have not been able to dedicate any time to it lately. I also garden, so that's why but anyway, announcements have gotten a little too long. Let's jump into this critique. So, I mean, right off the bat, anybody who doesn't have a trained eye in art can tell you right away that there is a smallness in her eyes that is not there. So I want to show you a little trick. I want you to draw red lines or red mark all over the majority of where the eye is on the face. And this can be used for any subject. It doesn't have to be just for facial proportions. This can be used in gesture. This can be used in anatomy. This can be used in environments. This can be used for perspective. This is a trick used for everything. All right, and we're just going to add redness to all of the parameters and the space that those features take up. Okay? Everybody with me? And we're going to do that here. I'm not doing things right now. Okay. This eye is especially small. All right, and you can already see what I'm getting at, right? You can already see what I'm doing. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a complete gray background to this, okay? And we're going to grab these features, going to place them, oops, shoot. We're going to grab these features and place them beside these features. Okay? And it's not a scale thing. It's not that these eyes are smaller. The lips are pretty much the same size as the nose. It's not that the face is smaller, sorry. It's that the eyes are really small. Brack attack. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. So you can see the difference, right? You can see the difference when we compare the scale of these. So imagine an actual scale, right? Imagine Isn't this what scales do? I still don't know how to draw a scale. Okay, there we go. Imagine a scale, right? And you put these features here and these features here, right? And put this here, this there. Which one would be heavier? It would be this one. This one takes up more space. The scale on this one, the scale is in the size, not the scale as in the balance. The scale is in the size, or the size of these features are much bigger. And so that's disproportion looked at in a different perspective. That's proportion observed under the kind of lens that you would have if you're working traditional, where you don't have access to overlapping layers quite as much as you do in digital. You don't have the ability to directly cross-reference the stuff or trace more evenly. All you have is your eyeball when you have traditional sketching. And so this is what I'm doing now. I'm giving you the tip that I would use if this was oil painting and you were trying to critique what you were doing. This is exactly the trick I would use. I would imagine, I would dart my eyes back and forth. So there's the knowledge and there's how to execute it. So I would dart my eyes back and forth from the reference to my creation to see if there's a scale change. Kind of like an animator darts their eyes really quickly. And I would retrace what was on my painting and redraw what was in the reference, and what was in the actual reference is scale. I would think of it as weight. I would think of it as physical weight. Is the upper half of the face the same weight as the lower half? And I am just carefully upscaling all of these features so that we go back to a similar likeness. This was all for the sake of likeness. Okay, because if you're not trying to get likeness, you will lose anatomy. Write that back to me. A lot of anatomy is invested in likeness. So what does that mean? Sometimes being, drawing the eyes too small. Like, let's look at where the eyes were before these small changes. Take a look, everyone. Look at this. They were tiny. Anatomically speaking, they were too tiny. They were kind of deformed. Do you see what I'm saying? So sometimes anatomy is preserved in the likeness of the character. So to capture her likeness is to capture her anatomy. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I am just trying to very, very carefully capture this. All right. Oh, it's difficult when you have pupils there too, and the iris. It's so difficult because I don't want to create this odd looking character. And so I think I can just scale it up from now to match the eyes of the character in the reference. And scale this up as well. And then try to shrink the pupil and the iris down so they don't have to, look so alien-like. And then cross them in so they have the same gaze as the reference. So the gaze crossing in is also anatomy, and it's functional anatomy, meaning that the mechanism of the eye is working. It's able to send a singular image up to the brain. Crossing inward and not having the images float over each other or a lack of focus in the eyes can show. It shows up in the image. All right, and then for the nose, which is significantly smaller in yours, we're going to increase the size as well. The lips are a little bit further apart and further from the nose. The corners are further apart. And then I will have to do some transformation changes because Liquify can't do everything. And so just take a look at the before. Do you see before? After, before, after. There's a lot of anatomy invested in likeness. Likeness, yes. So another thing would be just the size of the face and the size of the head. So what I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna just capture the head and expand it. Like literally, I'm just widening it. It was too narrow. The goal here is likeness. Whenever I do these critiques, it's always likeness. Okay. All right, and so I'm just readjusting some things so that we have a similar distribution of weight. So now the eyes are heavier. The top half of the head is heavier than the bottom half. And we have a more believable female beauty compared to where we were before. All right, and then I think I would like to, I'm just darting my eyes to see if there's anything I missed. Okay, so then I'm just going to blend away some things. So this line between the, this line at the edge of the nose is too sharp. So I'm just cleaning that up. And I'm trying to capture that same sternness of eyebrow. Those would really butter your waffles. I'd love to see a lot of League Splash art type videos on the new channel. Those really butter my waffles if you catch my drift. I don't catch your drift. I have no idea what you're talking about. But yes, I'll try to do more. It's just that, you know, they're really on their game, so they don't always make mistakes, those League Splash artists. But when they do, I'll see them, and you know, someone will suggest it, and yeah, and then I'll jump right on it as soon as I get a hold of them. But you guys really liked the Caitlyn one. You guys liked some. Some people hated the others, which I understand. League is their life, and you can't blame someone for that. But but I'll do my best to try to find some. And if you guys have any to suggest, any League splashes that look weird to you, let me know and I'll critique them and I'll take a look at them. Maybe there's something that I can see. And I'm just strengthening this eye socket line. And I'm strengthening this crease line. And there's so much more to do, like when it comes to the gaze and the placement of the pupil and the iris. But we're in a better spot now. We have a lot of focused anatomy now. Things just seem a lot more clear and easy to see. So her beauty is right there. We don't have to squint too hard or throw our heads to the side to see it. We can definitely see it right away. And that's in the size and scale of the eyes, which make a big difference when it comes to beauty. So for whoever who did okay, so whoever did this, for whoever did this, thank you for posting it. I like seeing these types of exercises every once in a while because it shows you guys are going back to the drawing board. You guys are going back to basics to help solidify those base skills that outside of all of the fun and fancy ways you can make an illustration, you also take time to think about what these fundamentals are in the textbook, what they actually are as a scientific element. So filter, liquefy, and I'm really serious about eyes. So I'm just going to do my best to capture that same kind of dissociated look in her eye, which I think is very, very mesmerizing. Mesmerizing. I bet you love that one, Kyle. And I'm just going to try to make sure. Do I get points for puns? I need to up my pun game. All right. And so I feel like I lost a little, but I gained a little as well. It's kind of weird. Sometimes you know, you get something, but you also lose something after liquefy. It's really very annoying. But I'm very particular with portraits, and I haven't done a lot of personal art because of all the projects I've been doing. So you can see I'm just taking my time with this one. And I'm just strengthening that lash line, mascara, all of that. I'm not going to get it exact because that would take a lot more time than I have in classes. But I do want to have a decent before and after for us to take a look at today. Oh, still on darken. Okay. And then just getting my blocking brush and creating that harsh cutoff for the nostril just there. And I'm very, very detail oriented, so I'm just using a little bit of that time I have right now to jump in there with some of the details, even though it won't be an exact replica. Not that I ever really aim for that in my art anyway. I always use multiple references. If it's a single reference, then that's very rare that I find a single reference that inspires me through every single hour of the painting process. Very rare does a reference like that find me in my life. Usually I find 2 or 3 and I grab something from each. But I usually use, multiple references and try to create something out of all of them. So I'm never really duplicating exactly what I see. But sometimes there's a reference that's just, you gotta copy everything. The photography was excellent. The light was excellent, and you should feel humbled that you have the opportunity to study such light captured so beautifully. And grateful. And that's sometimes I find a reference that does that and I have to duplicate it. There's no way around it. I want to be able to have studied that light in that scenario. But don't go for it all the time. Don't go for perfect replica every time. It's not necessarily what an artist is all about anyway. Usually artists are about their interpretation of the world around them anyway. So don't be bent out of shape trying to capture exactly what you see in a reference. Just capture the light to the best of your ability and focus on the fact that it really is just light that you're capturing. I'm not sure what this line of light is. I guess it's the water line. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. And I'm just going to give that lower eye space here a little bit more continuity with the shadow, and try to fix what's happening with the pupil and the iris. So yeah, it is a very scary concept. It just entered my mind and then fluttered away. Creating a new channel is kind of scary business because it's like, there's no way to do it without feeling like you've abandoned your other channel. It's always going to be there. But I just want to see as an experiment mostly to see if anything changes. If things change and more people find me, cool. It really was a shadow ban, or it really was some kind of leftovers of an expired shadow ban or something along those lines. Because so many people find my channel and they're like, wow, I don't know how I didn't find your channel before. There's so much information here. And some people are like, I saw your channel a long time ago, but I searched and searched and searched and could not find. So people looking up art critique and they can't find me. It sounds weird. It sounds very weird to me. People should be able to find me when they put those two words together, art critique. It's all over my channel. It's all over my description. But maybe my description needs a little bit of work. I don't think so. I don't think it's that. But anyway, I think that, maybe it'll help bring some traffic to this channel as well. But yeah. You must separate critique and hour. It could have just been a decade plus of dead accounts subbed to you, which brings down your discoverability. But how is that the creator's fault? How are dead accounts the creator's fault? But anyway, doesn't matter. I'm gonna try it anyway and see what happens. It's gone on too long this way, and YouTube doesn't seem to help. They kind of just go beep boop when you email them, because they just say, oh, try, keywords, try doing critiques about popular subjects, use music. It's just the same thing that Instagram said to me. And it's starting to get really, really annoying. They have no interest in actually answering questions. So I just decided to run this little experiment and see what happens. So I'm just adding shadow. As you can see, I really take my time with the eyes. They matter a lot. A lot of different artists do different things, but still, my version is still an interpretation of the original reference. So there's going to be that. But I'm trying to get it to a point where it looks a little bit closer to just functional anatomy. And oops, wrong button. And blending away, and I'm just darting my eyes. Really, it's very underrated trick to making sure you capture the anatomy right. You just dart your eyes. And I will show you the before and after now, and that will be it. There's not much I really wanted to change about this one. I just wanted to show you that there is a lot more that goes into measuring anatomy, and it doesn't have to be all lines and rulers. You could have done that measurement with a simple trick like testing the scales, the size, by just painting over the reference and seeing how outside of, because sometimes even when you make lines and make measurements, there are just brains that are so art oriented, they still don't register the information if it's placed in like a mathematical format. They're just not going to process that information. They need to see things visually, and painting over the reference, and interacting with the reference, thinking about measurement in a different way, the way I showed you at the start, and actually weighing more tangibly the differences between the features, creates that processable information in the eyes of the artist and in the brain of the artist. So I'm zoomed out, making some final decisions here and there. I think you did a little bit too much on the bounce light, just around here. And there's a lot more I could change. There's more space in between the eyes as well. I'm going to do a slight change with transform. Oops. What am I doing? Slight change. Very, very slight, but it worked. It worked. It did something. And all right, and then let's take a look at the before and after now. You guys ready? So before, after, before, after, before, after. I didn't use rulers this time. I didn't use any kind of symmetry line. I didn't use lines in any way. All I used was that overlap where I drew over and notice the scale difference. So before you even start your reference, all you have to do is just interact with it a little bit. You don't have to use lines. Hey, I hate lines. I don't like them. Okay, you don't have to use them. But use something like this to interrupt the flow of information coming out of your reference so you're not overwhelmed with the amount of detail that you forget to measure and end up with something like that. So doing this, I can see right off the bat, okay, I need to go a little bit bigger on the eyes. There's a little bit of a distance between the nose and the mouth, more than average. And the nostrils are very, very small. She has a very small nose. And that's kind of where we go. That's where we go to use a lineless measurement system. Because you can measure with lines and rulers, or you can measure with weight. Right? That's a scale. Or you can measure with weight. Both of those are valid ways to capture likeness. Okay? So before, after. Let me get rid of my red lines. Before, after. Before, after. I usually measure with weight. I usually don't measure with line because I'm an artist, so it's all about non-line way of processing information, non-mathematical way, non-numerical way. There's a lot of math in everything, but there's not a lot when it comes to later years in your life. You kind of just have a sense for the weight of the scale and the reference and the perspective. You just get a sense for it. It's not actual measurement. There's a lot of it early in your life as an artist. When you're a beginner, there's a lot of line work, maybe not numbers, but amounts, so sections, divisions of like a line. Oh, so this one is like, 2 sections across that are equally spaced, maybe not numerically, but you're still counting. But as you get better and better at being an artist, better at drawing, period, you notice, oh, this just feels heavier than this one. So you're just going to know what to do with your brush because you're just going to feel your way through it. So if you feel like, oh, if I'm going to use lines now, yeah, I don't feel like it. It's not something I feel like as part of my journey. It is, and it'll shake it off. You won't think of things numerically anymore. After a while of building your skill, you'll eventually shake off that need to measure because you'll just see those schematics in your eye when you're looking at something. You'll see the lines. You'll see the way these things relate to each other. Before, after. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Is there a shadow ban on Twitch too? No, not at all. Again, I don't know. It's just speculative. I don't know if there is a shadow ban at all, really. But I also don't really believe YouTube's information about my channel. But I think it's a combination of what I was talking about and the fact that I have long-form content that isn't very eye-catchy. It's very, very educational. They're literally lectures. So that's not, fun, I guess. And so they really like their fun, pranky, exploitative, let's prank a homeless guy. Let's give a homeless guy $100 and record ourselves. YouTube loves that shit. So what am I supposed to do? How do I compete against that with some art critique? But I also wish that I could, reach my followers, reach new people. But we'll see. Thank you guys for watching today. Remember that there is a community challenge coming up. It's live. It's currently live. The deadline will be mid-June. And if you are interested, if this video was too short, not enough information on how to draw a portrait, I have a masterclass on portraits, and it is everything you need to know how to draw a portrait without reference from scratch, completely guided. You have notes on the side. You have the brushes I used and the templates to help you get started. It's literally foolproof and it's fail-proof. And that's not on sale currently, but it will be at the start of summer. And then there is also how to submit your work for critique. All you got to do is click on the subreddit icon on the home page or in the community tab, wherever, and join us on Discord. Both of these have a place for you to submit your art for critique. This is where I gathered work for critique for today. Thank you all for joining. I'll see you guys next Tuesday, because I will not be critiquing this Thursday, but I will see you guys on Tuesday the 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Bye, guys.